All right. Hey, good afternoon, Waycross family. This is your city update. Again, we're trying to get back to doing these consistently, so we're being consistent with these, so everyone can stay informed through our many means of communications. So I ain't got the big tablet today, so I'm trying to look at my phone and my notes, and also just see if you make any comments. So again, as a reminder, this first one kind of starts with just we got 9 items to discuss, and this is meant as a quick update. And then the one at the end of the month, or the last fourth Thursday of the month, that'll be the one we're going to more detail. So just how these kind of set up. So we'll go ahead and get started. And now we do have a hard stop around 1 o'clock, but hopefully we can answer some questions. And I'll try to keep these slides brief. You've seen, for the most part, you've seen many of these slides during our actual meetings, commission meetings, and then I added some new information. So for today, the 9 items will be: we'll look at the city plan again, a quick infrastructure update. This is a little bit different from the one you see at the commission meeting or online. All the slides down in there is just to be a quick kind of what this is type situation. Streets and roads update, code tracker update, the monthly fines report. Then we'll go into our actual items I want to discuss today, and then we'll take some questions. So the items we'll be discussing today is going to be safety. We'll do a quick order update, what's on the way, and then the last thing we'll close with is dignity and respect. So we'll go ahead to the city plan. And this is just showing, the city plan has always been 10 years. And what you're seeing now, it should pop up here in a second, is just showing you really years 2 through 4, and then years 4 through 10. We're operating right now in the years of 2 through 4. And you can see those items in there, what we're doing. I'll touch on that briefly. So, of course, we're still, doing a full implement of updating our policies. And, of course, we got performance tracking measures now to make us more efficient doing our jobs during the day. And, of course, trying to strengthen the workforce through training and recognition. And then, of course, our automation is still going on. And then just some other things that we're trying to get better at, just a long-term financial strategy to protect our city services that we provide. And I'll touch on this at the slide on financials, but still having a hard time explaining folks about taxes and city services. And I hope that you got some ideas how that can better be received, because it's important that everybody understands how we're funded and how our services are provided, so that the commission can make some tough decisions they need to make, because you want to start doing stuff incrementally. When you do need to bring more revenue in, because if you don't, then you'll be forced, like most cities, to do a big old hike price, in one business year. That ain't fair to anybody. So if you got some suggestions on that, just please let us know. We want to do a better job of that. Next, we'll go to the dirt street roads and dirt roads paving. And again, if you look at these slides, they're going to be a little bit different from how the work session goes and the commission meeting and what we post every day. Did cut some things out. But on the street and dirt roads paving slide, we're going to push back some of the dates. So Brunel Street and Scrivens, there was scheduled starting in February. It's going to probably be March now, because we have some adverse weather. It's to kind of push the schedule back a little bit. And then Oak Street, we had a sinkhole over there. The design is done. Hopefully we get that kind of bid out over the next months, and then kind of get that early spring. We'll get started early spring. Dirt roads paving. So I'm going to see some of these streets. We started with Satilla Lane. If you go over there, you ride through there, you'll see they're putting in some of the culverts, doing a lot of the utilities right now. Again, the weather kind of pushed all that back. When it's cold, it's harder to do certain things with streets, but it will be done. And we are on pace to get all these dirt roads paved over the next 2 years. You see Quarterman Street there. That should be starting either this month or next month. The bids went out. They did the pre-construction, so that should be on its way to get fixed. And again, with Quarterman Street and most of our larger projects, I was talking to somebody yesterday about this. We're really trying to do long-term fix. With long-term fix, it takes us a longer time to fix it. That's why it's called long-term fix, versus quick patches, what we've been doing, and then we're fixing it every other year. So that's why it takes a little bit longer with our approach than maybe in the past when we just kept on patching stuff and it got right bad. Another 2 or 3 months, we back again patching it. So, and again, for those who might not be aware of this, you can go on the city web page, and if you go to the engineer department section and you scroll down to the bottom, you're going to see a list of all of our streets and roads. Well, not all of our streets and roads. You're going to see the next 100 streets to get paved according with our project list, and then you're gonna see all the dirt roads are gonna get paved, so you can know. If for some reason you see a missing dirt road and you feel like it should be paved, please reach out to your commissioner as soon as you can. Again, that's on the city's webpage, the engineering department. Next, we're gonna move into some collaboration projects, and these haven't really had any updates. I did speak with GDOT this week, reference corridor Z, and the importance of getting that done faster. So they're gonna look at moving some money this year. But even when they move the money, it might take another year for the project to get started. So we'll keep everybody updated on this as more information becomes available. And then we move on to the blight slide. So again, you might see this slide on the code slide. You might see this slide on other presentations, and the numbers might be different. I don't really update this part because I don't do this twice a month. But if you look at the slide during the commission meetings or at the other meetings, you'll see that's being updated every month, and like once a month, because it's reflecting all of the cases that's happened in the previous month and are being worked. And then when we flip it over to the next month, we put all new cases on there. And you see we're doing pretty good about that. We did knock down we demolished, I think, 3 properties this past month. So that number's a little bit higher than what it states right there. Again, the team is doing what they can do to keep Waycross clean and get rid of some of these unsightly projects, houses, as much as we can. But it's a lot of them, so it's gonna take some while. And next, we're gonna move into the finance report, and it says December there. It has to be January. I'm gonna change that for the next meeting in February. So, but not much has really changed here. The spots that we took in, we did go a little bit on that. I think it's now another $1 million. Streets and roads, we actually spent about $600K versus the $230K that's here. And the money still be appropriate for the vehicle purchases and the park repairs and all those things. The property taxes did go up a little bit. Some more came in, as well as the business license and alcohol permits. So that came up as well. So we actually doubled that cost revenue from what it was last month. And then the main thing on here, this goes back again to the conversations about city services. Again, all your taxes, 75 to 80% of your taxes go directly to a service requirement. So, like I said, we're still having these conversations about tax being misappropriated, but the taxes go right to the salaries and benefits of our workforce. And I don't know another way to explain that, but that's how it works. And that's how we are able to provide police, fire, public works, parts of water and sewer, other parts of other infrastructure, things of that nature. And this is a big chunk of our budget. It's just straight coming from services. So when we have the Waycross 101 class, it's going to be a part of a single discussion, because I really want citizens and residents to understand how this works, because it's so important, again, that everybody has a shared understanding so that the commissioners can make some tough decisions moving forward. The economy is always changing. It's been really rough this last year with the economy, with so many changes back and forth, that we're trying to stay consistent with our revenue streams, because it's hard to kind of program a budget with stuff that's always changing at the top and working its way down. So that's that. That last slide, that's simply telling you about how to stay connected. We got multiple ways to stay connected. So of course we got the app, and I'll say this as much as I can. The app is going to be the fastest way that you can reach the city. Faster than the phone, faster than calling your commissioner, faster than calling me. Because the app, once you call, it prioritizes and sends that, whatever that is you have a concern about, right to the appropriate staff directory, and they get somebody out that way. We really encourage you to try to start using that. I know there's been some discussions about people not understanding how to use it, but I promise you it's very simple. It takes about 2-3 minutes. And what I try to do now, the new commissioner is going to do, is get out and show everyone how that actually works. Because again, it's going to be our fastest way to communicate. Next, we got this program where you can get alerts either by email, text, or a phone call, and you can sign for that. It'll probably be in the comments at the end of this discussion here. Please do that because that's another fast way to receive information from us, especially if you can't make the meetings. All right. And really, that's about it as far as staying connected. So next, I want to talk about safety, and I'm probably going to read some of these talking points verbatim to you because I know sometimes I get up and I start talking because safety is our number one priority, and it's probably the most frustrating because we just can't seem to get everyone. I don't know. It's hard to explain. We just can't get everybody to get on board about simple things like just slowing down and just respecting each other on the road. So, but I will say, and we all need to understand this, keeping each other safe and clean, keeping Waycross clean, it's a shared responsibility, not just the city. This all got to mean something to all of us at the same time. And we need to figure out how that works. Of course, you always have people that don't really care, and I get that. That's in any city. But as your city manager, I'm just asking what else needs to happen in regards to safety. What else can we do to make you understand how important it is that you slow down, that you follow all traffic signs, that you posted signs, stop lights, and then just respect the people walking on the street. It's like we speed up sometimes when somebody's trying to cross the road. I just can't understand that. So please slow down and what's going on. And again, you see that in the slides. Our crews are doing their best every day. And I think people, I'm not sure everybody really understands this. Most of the workforce is homegrown. They live here. I mean, they live, they work here, they play here. So the parts being cut is just as important to them as it is you. The same thing with the streets being clean. They live on those same streets. So nobody's going to purposely neglect any type of cleanup or safety. It's just sometimes we do get behind. And with the safety, again, they got family members too that they're concerned about. So let's all try to do better with that. All right, we're going to move to the city odor investigation update. It's not an actual investigation. It's just an update. So what I want to say today is and we done a lot, and I want to make sure I make this clear. I know it's can be received in many ways, and I don't want to come off the wrong way because I think ultimately the goal is again to make Waycross better, figure out the issues and concerns, and build a city. Build a city moving forward. So we did a lot of testing, all our water systems, septic systems, the river. We did everything we could do humanly possibly just to make sure nothing was contaminated or it wasn't or that wasn't the cause. But I can't say still what caused the actual odor. I will say this, and I know I'm gonna get misquoted. Of course, the water and sewer plant has a smell to it. That's just natural what it is. The river has a smell to it. That's just natural what it is. Some of our plants have smells to them just because of what they do. It's just natural what it is. But we had a combination of things going on after we did some investigations those couple of days I want to touch on. I think it's important. But before I get to that, I will say EPA came in and did the air quality testing, and the EPD came in and did some other things. They did do another independent air study and water study. But they went a step further and they went to all the businesses who should have had permits to do what they do. And I'll say this right now, some of the businesses have not had permits. And that's something I'm looking at legally right now, how to make that compliance work, because that's part of the problem too. So we're going to look at that, how to make sure that they know they need to have permits and they know how that works. And the EPD does, does their thing by, holding all of us accountable as well. So that was a, if you want to do a silver line, it's good that we know that, because sometimes, you just don't know. And I think some of the businesses don't know either that their requirements that they must follow, that's mandated, they must follow. It's not I will or I won't. You have to follow those things, and we're going to do a better job as a city, make sure they're compliant. But with that, I did ask them that once they get all the samplings back and everything, even the businesses they're not compliant, I'm not going to put that information out. I want them to do it so the city is, is fair and transparent. We're not any part of that. They'll say what's going on from their reports and their findings, and then we'll all come back from there and put together a better solution. So, but with that, I just want to talk about how this kind of I'm trying to think of that quote. Some of y'all older than me, so y'all might know what I'm talking about. So, old as me. For want of the nail, y'all remember that? And then for want of the shoe and all that stuff with the horse and the war and all that, because had the horse had the nail out of the shoe, they might have, look it up. But what it's saying is, it's the small actions that lead, to the big things. And y'all have heard me say this many times before if you've been paying attention about how we just throw whatever we want to throw into our rivers. It's frustrating. People go pour oil into the rivers, throw batteries in the rivers, do all kind of stuff. And then everybody complains of why stuff is the way it is. And we don't have a big enough staff to catch every single person that's making things unsafe for us all. I had discussions about codes and why we messing with folks trying to, take care of their cars, and like everybody can have a garage in front of their house. Well, this is another reason why, because he pour the oil right down the sewer line, not knowing that goes to the plant. But let me take that back. That goes to the plant, but we do it anyway. We put the grease, down the sink. And I'm trying to communicate. I've been communicating since I've been here. How that's the most dangerous thing happening to us. So we should be in an uproar. It should be with each other. Because this is really, this has put that plant in situation in years and years and years of people just feel like it's their God-given right to throw what they want to throw into the river, into the canals, down the sinks, in the sewers, all kind of stuff. We went through the sewers and found multiple stuff. Yes, I've been record before. We have illegal dumping. It's kind of hard to do with so many manholes unsecure, and not necessarily in the budget for that security. Take about $3,000 to secure a manhole. So it's a lot. So I'm asking today, the city does not run away from accountability. We take pride in our responsibilities. Again, I might be the only person not from Wake Cross that works in the city. And I don't think that really means anything as far as me, my effort, but everybody lives here. Nobody's gonna let anything purposely happen to their city. But we got to figure out if what we say do mean what we say. Do we? Because I don't think anybody understands. Again, the code comes out and talks to you about, having your junk cars out there and doing stuff you shouldn't be doing, and you cuss them out. How does that work with them? And people complain about the canal and stuff, and they the same people who just pouring stuff in the canal. Because I guess it's their right. So yeah, it was a lot of things that happened, and the wind happened the right way. The river was about 9 inches low, and then bow, there it was. Everything that could have been smelt was smelt. We cleaned everything we could, did what we could do. Still waiting on testing for other areas, but again, we all gotta be realistic about this is all our problems. It ain't just the city's problem. I know we got people in the city that they want to see the city burn and fail and all that stuff, but we all live here. We all play here. We all work here. We have children here. So it should be important enough to us that we won't just throw stuff down the toilet, in the sink, because what the outcome is. And I know I sound a little bit frustrated, but my people trying their best in situations like this, and then we get a lot of ridicule, and it's frustrating sometimes, because again, nobody wakes up purposely to come in here and mess up something, but we do deal with a lot. So I'm asking today just to consider that nail, that part you got into this, don't throw the grease down the sink because it clogs up the lines and then nothing can get through. The oil, and I don't know right now what to do with the oil right now that you change in your cars. We're going to figure that out. But throwing it in the river, throwing it in the canal, pouring down the drain, pouring down the sewer, that is not what we're supposed to be doing. So, paint, I just don't get it. I believe you can take the paint back to Lowe's. I believe you can if you don't use it. I could be wrong. But to just throw it down in the sewer like people often do, I mean, we all gotta kind of understand expectations of management of our sewer water system, how that works. Everything that you throw in the sink, in the toilet, in the sewer, in the manhole, at the lift stations, illegally, not legally, whatever you want to call it, comes back through our systems. And our systems have a hard time processing all that stuff, but they are processing it. That's why that water comes in, it goes out, it's totally different. But once we get everything back from EPD, all the testing, like I said, I'm gonna ask them to provide a brief to the community. Maybe let the news come down here and they do it separately from us. And then whatever they found out and whatever they recommended we do, then we'll do as a community and we'll move forward. So I know that answers everybody's questions, but that's the reality of what's going on right now. And again, we all got a part in this and we all got to want to be better with this. All right. I think we'll go ahead and move to the what's coming to Waycross slide. And you can see that, what's coming to Waycross. And again, a lot of good things are coming to Waycross. And I wish I could get up here some days and just say everything, but we still got some stuff in place that I can't figure out. But those things you asked about, all those agencies, authorities, separate groups, city, county, they gonna look at that stuff, but they want to bring it here for you. So it is coming. Again, it will take some time for those new stores that you all crave. Not sure about industry yet, big industry, but I know it's being worked on by our teammates. So, but it's there. New housing options. We got a lot of houses coming right now. Multiple apartment developments, manufacturing homes, trailers, residential areas. They are being built right now. I think what we're gonna do. I'm not sure when, but we're gonna do a separate update just on housing coming to Waycross and the county at some point in the near future. I think it's very important for everybody to see that that growth is coming. That we are preparing for industries to be here for workforce housing. And we also understand the market values of what people can afford here right now. So just keep that back in your mind because it is coming. And I really won't go too far in there though. Just you can read that slide for yourself. A lot of great things are happening. And then I want to go to the last slide on here before I take some questions. I'm gonna read some of this because I think it's kind of important we understand. And I know there's a lot of questions right now on what's going on in the country, and we all affected by what's going on at the top, working its way down. So, but I'll make sure it's clear. I said some things the other night at the meeting, and it's never my intent to sound confrontational, but it's only so much abuse I will allow my staff to take, or anybody, because I truly believe that we all should treat each other with the same dignity and respect we want in return, even when we disagree. I know we get a lot of insults online, hostility, and personal attacks about whatever. I think I'm personally living in some people's heads. Y'all do think about me pretty much every day since I've been here, and I appreciate that because ultimately I think that's a form of flattery because they got high expectations of me to solve every problem they want to get solved. So again, we thank you for that encouragement you continue to give us, even though it comes off negative sometimes. But that's still the way how you solve problems. Yelling and screaming and shouting, that's not how you do it. And definitely not my staff. So what I was trying to iterate at the meeting yesterday, Tuesday, if you have a problem, first of all, you can call, we can talk about it. You can talk to your commissioners. The mayor does a great job of listening as a sounding board. If there's an issue with somebody in the staff, you can ask to talk to the supervisor. If there's an issue with the supervisor, you can ask to talk to the director. If it's an issue with the director, you can ask and talk to the city manager. If it's an issue with me, you can come to the commission meeting and talk to the commission. We'll talk to you as long as you're professional and you come from a place of good faith. But we're not going to sit here and get cussed out and yelled at folk anymore about anything. Because if you got an issue, those that we do brought to our attention, we fix them 100% of the time. It might take some time, but we do fix them. So I was just saying, if you come up to the building and you're going to threaten the staff, and yeah, we're not doing it anymore. I do have police officers up there. I'm going to protect my staff and my team. And that's just point blank, period. So I need y'all to understand that, I'm all about dignity and respect, both ways though. Just because we work for the city doesn't mean we get to be disrespected. And no job like that in the world. So please take that into consideration when you have issues. Again, there's a chain you can follow if you want to report those issues. But the most effective way is just simple communication. I have a problem. This is my concern. This is my issue. I need y'all to fix it. And then we'll take it from there. And again, I'm going to restate this again. All the city employees were born here or close to here. They have a vested interest in taking care of Waycross. This is where their kids growing up. Why would they slack? And again, I want to start like look at this and look at that. But every time there's been some real threats here, the hurricanes, storms, the winter, they've been the first people out there to neglect their families to go out and keep everybody safe. Even the ones that sit there and pay utility bills every day, or the finance department, or HR, the ones that not necessarily outside, they came in to take care of those outside working. So that part I don't get. They here to serve, yes, all that stuff. It's a job, they took all that. But like I say, this they home too. And I don't know if it's just the way it is. Like, I did my time in the Army. I've been all around the world. And it's disappointing to see some of the hatred that flies around, especially right now across the country. And you can take this how you want to take this, but it don't have to be that way. Like I keep saying, disagreement is healthy. We can disagree as you get real solutions, but disrespect right behind that. Who wants to talk to you if you're gonna say something crazy about them or insult them? Why should they talk to you at that point in time? So, and I don't want to be there horse. I'm just a little frustrated about that because I got a great team, and nobody can tell me not a great team because they've done stuff that a staff of 1,000 couldn't do. Do it every day. So I'll leave that there. And last thing, and I'm saying this on behalf of the mayor and the commission, they did want me to put this out. Every resident here in the city of Waycross is just as important as every other resident. We watch out for everybody, regardless of how they look, regardless of where they from, regardless of how much they make, regardless of what they do. We're gonna take care of everybody. We're gonna care about everybody. We're gonna show that through the hard effort work that we do every day. So should no resident here in Waycross feel unsafe, unprotected, unappreciated, or unwelcome by anything that's internal or external. And we're always gonna do the right thing no matter what's going on in Georgia, state of Georgia, in this country. When it come here, we're gonna band together and we're gonna take care of the residents of Waycross. And that's just, again, point blank, period. And again, doesn't matter how they look, or their sex, what they practice, what church they go to, how they speak, doesn't matter. They all deserve dignity and respect, and that's what we're gonna do. If you have a problem with that, then you are the problem. And man, you need to figure some stuff out. But from the mayor and the commission, every resident of Waycross, you have nothing to fear from nobody outside of Waycross or anybody to bring you harm. You are protected to the best of our abilities, legally and to the law. Just want to say that up front. All right. I'm not going to repeat these slides like I normally do. I know I go back and repeat them. They'll be on the page for a while, and you can come back and look at them when you want to. I'm going to look at some of these. I see a few questions came up, but let me just... My phone a little bit different from the tablet, so I might not be able to pull them. Let's see. I can see them now. Yeah, so okay, thank you for that comment. Also, there's a question about the overpass. So I'm not really sure about the overpass. I know it is delayed somewhat. I know the county's kind of working on that partnership with GDOT And again, the weather was a issue for a little bit, but hopefully it gets back on schedule here in the near future. What I'll do, I will get with the county manager, try to get with him this week and ask him does he got an update. He'll probably put it out on his own. I'll just follow up for whatever he says. I know it's not too far off schedule. Just had a few concerns about some new right of way rights that we was not tracking and permits again that we were not tracking some new permits. So that's how that works. Yeah, I don't see a lot of questions today. Is that a question? All practices? Okay. Let me look. Okay, the shopping center on Memorial Drive. You know what? I can't answer that either because I ain't too sure. But I'll find out. We'll probably try to find today. And I don't know if we have your number, I think. If not, inbox the city of Waycross, the city's page, and we'll respond to you. I do know it is going to happen. So that that's the great thing. It's going to happen, and there's going to be some really great stores there for you, which I can't really say out loud for certain reasons. But you're gonna be pleased. That's going to be good for Waycross, and it'll be not sure when it'll be complete when it starts, but it's not going to take as long as some of the other things that have happened in the city as far as infrastructure. But it's going to be a great thing. But inbox us, and then I'll get you a actual date or startup time. All right, let me just. All right. So I guess it was just a couple questions there. So I will do my summary then. So it's about 12:32. Again, if you got any questions after you watch this, you can reach out to us. I just want to say a few things again about safety. We've done a lot of steps that you can't see all the time. I think some people starting to notice it. We really updated our stop signs, make sure they're more reflective. Stop signs, as far as sign maintenance, was our priorities as far as getting all these signs updated. And again, we have about thousands and thousands of signs that need to be replaced. Just weren't getting replaced as it should have been. But the priority has been stop signs, certain safety signs, like you might be a school sign, those are the priority. And then we go to the street signs. So what we're doing now. So, but we're doing a lot to make sure they are visible. I know a lot. Some of them had the flashing lights, but I think we look at some new data, and that reflective strip works a lot better when you're driving up on it. That's one thing about safety. We have moved police presence around the city a little bit different, and you can see it as far as the schools and stuff. I don't know what's going to happen when they do start construction on that bypass. As far as all traffic coming to Corridor Z, that's a state maintained highway. I have reached out. Chief Cox working some things as well about maybe getting some support from State Patrol, and maybe a certain hours that we just do that. Not block off the streets, but we put patrol officers out there. They kind of do the traffic that way. That might be better, but I don't want to say it's going to be possible. But we are looking at that as far as safety. And again, like I said, just slow down. If somebody look like they're about to walk in the crosswalk, just slow down. It ain't that serious. And then back again to overall safety. And again, my comment on my last slide, that this is one community. So let's watch out for each other. Even the police force are homegrown here. They care about this community as well. So that's with that. Again, with the odor, I feel like the odor is gone. There will be certain odors in the air because of, like I said, certain industries, the river, they all have carry odors on some of our plants. But we did go back and do everything we could do to resolve the matter. But in doing so, we found a lot of stuff that needs to be done better. When I say better, I mean being in compliance with federal and state regulations. I mean, all of us kind of, taking it to heart that we got a responsibility individually to make this, make Waycross Cross better. So again, just throwing stuff down there, through the sinks and down the drain, you think it's harmless, but it's tenfold once you do that. And again, the oils and the paints into the river and down the sewer systems and all those things, they're contributing negatively to the overall performance of the plant. The plant does a great job of filtering all that stuff out, but it shouldn't have to. I am going to research some things about how to get rid of those materials, those hazardous materials. Right now, we don't know, but we will investigate and figure out a better way ahead. But in the meantime, definitely with the paint and the oil, you might need to store that stuff up. That is killing us right now. And I forgot to mention with the restaurants and certain things, because I recall a frustrated resident came into my office one day about the grease traps in the office and why I was causing some more financial heartache to the restaurant business, and I'm not. I'm simply saying the grease trap is a requirement that grease traps gets clean because that's a safety hazard. But it's nothing more, nothing less, and that also contributes to negative maintenance on our plants. So if you're a restaurant owner, and please help us out, man, get that grease trap clean and appropriately for the size of your grease trap. That should be an easy answer. All right. And then again, too, like I said, all residents should feel safe here, regardless how you look, how you speak, what language you speak, or you can't speak, or your faith is, or who your faith's not with. You safe here. We're gonna do everything we can do legally to protect you, because that's the job. We're gonna do everything we can to provide you quality service because that's the job. And we're gonna treat everybody with dignity and respect because we want to be treated with dignity and respect. So I'm in on that note. Treat everybody with dignity and respect, or the same dignity and respect you would want in return. If you're gonna insult people, then expect an insult back. And again, with this building right here, like everybody like to say, 417, you come up here yelling and being confrontational, adversarial, and you get put out of here. Just point blank. So, and I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean that in a professional way, protecting my staff. And that's a principle and guideline the commission has definitely empowered me to do what I haven't had before, and we will do that. All right. I don't think any more questions on here. We just pop out of mine and pop back in just to see. All right. Okay. All right, with that, hey, everybody have a good day. The weather is going to go down, be a little bit colder tonight again. Have no control over this. I'm going to refrain from posting my opinion on weather reports based off of some of the feedback. But I will say the police courtroom is open when it's under 40 degrees. That's when we put the cots out. We bring some food out, stuff like that. If it's over 40 degrees, this is by 7 o'clock, then we don't do that. I don't want to discourage people from coming up there, but if it's a night, it's 50 degrees, that courtroom is going to be locked. I do leave cots out now. We leave cots out now if you want to use a cot, but it's not a hotel. So I need everybody to understand that. It's just a place to get out of the cold weather. The commission has charged me to look at other options. They're looking at options themselves, trying to figure out a better means about protecting our most vulnerable people, definitely during the weather. But it's going to be hard. And that's another funding source we got to work on, but we are working on it. But again, tonight it's going to drop drastically tonight. And I think it goes back up Friday, I want to say, and then back down Sunday. So I don't know what's going on. I tried to call the groundhog. He didn't answer the phone either. So I don't know. But that being said, please stay warm. And again, I want to make another clarification. If you don't have power, you have to call the power provider. If you don't have gas, you have to call that provider. The city can't do anything outside of water. Again, but we're not going to do any cutoffs. We don't do cutoffs during these periods of time when we know all means of forms of heat or warmth are needed. But you got to call. You got to raise your hand, and we're not going to know. Same thing with those other providers. They're not going to know. If you call the commissioner and you try to call me, we cannot call another energy provider and try to talk for you. It doesn't work that way. So if you got a situation going on or money is tight, please call Don't sit there and be cold because right now, everybody, we go back to that word humanity, it's going to try their best to help you out. So, but you got to raise your hand. Everybody knows you need help. And last thing, so I'm talking about safety. I'm looking at my other text here coming in. We've had a rash of fires. I don't know what's going on right now, but we're up, I think, about 50% of fires this year. And some of those fires could have been prevented if we follow some safety rules. The fire chief does a great job of putting out information about how to stay warm and safe. We come check fire on your homes for fireproof technology, all those things. But the biggest factor is if you ain't got no power, because we're finding out people that don't have power sometimes go in abandoned houses and use certain things. That is just dangerous. So again, to my statement earlier, if you're a resident of Waycross, we're going to take care of you. We got to know. Please reach out. This is one place, one team, one fight. It's Waycross family. We're all in this together. Let's be together, take care of each other. Everybody have a nice day. Stay warm tonight. And I'll be signing off.